Welcome to the School of Bliss podcast where we learn things that school didn't teach us. My name is Yani. I'm a professional life and financial coach. But in this podcast, I'm your classmate in learning about how to be happy, healthy, and super wealthy. Today is day 4 of the daily podcast, and still no neon light to be found at my back. Alam niyo na yon, 'di ba? If you listen to the other episodes, then you know why I'm doing the daily podcast. May end goal tayo. It's fun to have something to look forward to, and I love that I made it a reward for myself for being consistent and providing value. So I'll be provided a neon light. Anyway, so today is the day I'm wearing my favorite color, yellow. Actually pink, pero my happy color is yellow. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited to welcome you guys to this episode because like I said, will be talking about happiness, health, and wealth in this podcast. And I realized one of the main contributory talaga of my happiness is having money. Parang ang hirap kasing maging masaya kung wala tayong ma-provide para sa sarili natin. And so, that's what one of the biggest realizations I had for last year. Last year, 2022, was a tough year because it was the year that I bought my condo. I had it fully renovated, and my budget was really stretched to its limits. Like imagine I was solo living, but I had to pay all I had to fund everything for this condo and buy everything for this condo and appliances, the renovation cost, the cost of the condo. Basta ang daming naging problems when it comes to finances. I wouldn't say na problem talaga, but I would say it was a stretch for me. No, if I just paid my tax earlier, and if I were to look at my income last year, it was really big compared to I what I was earning before, years before that. But I guess my income also expanded because marami siyang paglalaanan. Marami siyang mad, there I would dedicate my income to a lot of important things last year. It was also the year I traveled a lot in different countries, and I was also stretched in terms of my mindset of having to spend so much on experiences. So, yeah, but I also noticed, of course, if there was a struggle, of course, there are lessons to be learned. And lessons that I learned are the unhealthy financial habits that I had that led me to struggle while I started solo living. So, one of the main uh, things that we have to understand when we want to take control of our finances is that we are not uh, we might not have the savings that we want, or we are struggling with our finances because we have unhealthy financial habits. And as a financial coach, I am being very vulnerable on where I lacked control of last year that led me to struggling financially. Hindi man struggling, but I would say I would rate the struggle a 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. I am struggling uh, because of these financial habits that I want to leave in 2022. I think I created a TikTok video around this. And yeah, I just want to reiterate it here on the podcast because maybe baka pareho lang tayo, no, that you're also struggling with this. I'm not sure if you're watching the video, but I feel uncomfortable just talking about this because for me, no, para kang may gym coach tapos nagsasabi yung gym coach na actually hindi nga ako nag-gym last year. Parang parang paano ko naman makikinig sa'yo kung ikaw nga mismo hindi ka nag-gym last year, no? So, it feels like that. I feel anxious just creating this episode. Pero, what the heck? Other people will learn, I'll create that episode. Ayan. So I had a lot of wrong financial habits because I got so excited with my money, no? And so here are things that I left in 2022. It's April, and these are the things that I am still working on since the year started. So, number one is not having a budget. So, I remember having a budget for this house, but it went overboard. Let's just say that I had a budget to tell me na, okay, hanggang dito lang yung gagastusin natin because we wanna be, minimalist. We don't wanna spend all our money on just the renovation. But guys, I went overboard. Like, I would say double, double the budget that I initially set. Um, I didn't have a budget last year. I was living independently. I was throwing parties every day because I thought, okay lang, di ba? May bahay na ako. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to be used. But what I didn't realize is I let go of my, tawag dito, my routine with my money. So I used to have dates with my money every week and every month where I really sit down and check in. Okay, what worked, what didn't work in terms of my money management, in terms of my investments, like really checking in. That's why I got to save up a lot. No, but last year I was really just splurging all the money that I have, and I got too excited. Yeah, so one of the biggest mistakes that I did is to let go of my money management system. So when I was started solo living, sabi ko, mag-isa lang naman ako, I would live my life according to how I want it. And that led me to learn a lot of things. No? So, that's why, no, yung financial book or journal ko, money journal ko, which is the Flow Life, it was hard for me to sell it na because I wasn't actually using it. Parang, hindi na ako naggumagamit ng journal. So, it was hard for me to sell it because I was not a believer anymore. But of course, this year I went back to journaling. I went back to using my money journal because that is who I really am. And so, creating a budget, or what I want to work on is to create a budget that is sustainable enough that I would follow. Ayun. Kasi naman, before, the reason why we don't really use the budget that we set ourselves is because it's too impossible. Sometimes we set, like, I remember my savings rate would be 50% of my income. And that was that felt possible when I was still living with my family. But when I started solo living, parang hindi ko talaga ma-reach yung 50% na savings for a month because grabe din yung bills ko dito. And then, I realized na, sige, dahil lumagpas naman ako sa budget ko, di ko naman na na-save yun. Sige lang, spend ko na lang, di ba? I was neglecting the fact that I should have a budget. And it's a necessity for us to have a budget and to stick to it. So make your budget sustainable. So that's what I'm working on this year. Like, I will create a new video around it because grabe din yung pagiging strict ko when it comes to my finances this year. Like, sabi nga ni Alec, bakit parang naririnig ko na sa'yo na magtipid? Dati hindi ko naririnig. Well, dati yun. Last year yun. This year, we'll be smarter with our money. Number 2 is relying on credit card. So, when I started moving in, sobrang kabang-kaba ako with my money because I know I have to pay for like, I had a lot of cash, but I was so scared to use any cash when I was in LA pa noon, doing my mini retirement because unang-una nasa States ako. Pangalawa, I was gonna go home to pay for the full down payment and also the renovation plus the appliances. So I had to rely on credit cards. Because sabi ko, natatakot ako gamitin yung cash ko and I wanna use credit cards. And my gosh, what happened is I have a rule on credit card to use it only when I have 10 times the money in my bank account. But last year, I really let go of that. Parang ako, di makikiswipe ako sa ate ko and then have it installment. Makikiswipe din ako. I'll use my credit card. So all my credit cards were um stretched because I was using it to complete the appliances in the house, to order online, and then I traveled to Las Vegas. I used all my credit cards, and yes, it is helpful to have a credit card, but if you don't use it properly, it will lead you to financial crisis. It will lead you to financial instability. And so I would say I didn't like the result of relying too much on the credit card because every time the bills would go, I would be so overwhelmed. Parang, oh my gosh, the way my savings depleted was so fast that I didn't notice it because I was in the card most of the time. The transactions were all there. And hindi ko mag-gauge siya with the debit, no? With the savings account. So, of course, I always want to pay in full. And that was the struggle. Na parang, makikita ko, oh my gosh, ang laki ng babayaran ko. And because I was just swiping. Swiper no swiping nga kasi, di ba? Because I was swiping. I would say I went overboard. Kaya ang bilis din na fill up ng stuff yung condo ko kasi nga, sige, bili credit card, sige, bili credit card. And every time the bills would come, nagpa-pile up, na doon ako na shock, no? Parang, oh my God, ang laki na pala na kailangan kong bayaran. So this year, I'm really not using my credit card unless big purchases na I wanna, let's say, put in installment or pay for example, tickets, ganon, yung mga matagal ko pa naman gagamitin or yun. Parang hindi ko din siya nagagamit ngayon. Mga groceries and all, appliances, I am sticking to a new budget plan. So I hope I could share this to you guys via my YouTube channel because it's exciting. It's so different. It's all about solo living. So, we were watching my budget video last year. 2 years ago, 2021 September. It's so different with the way I budget right now. So, excited to also share that with you guys, but basically, not relying on credit cards alone. Okay. Number 3 is not saving for my growth fund. So, it's exciting because now I am and getting back on track with my finances, and it's exciting because last year I was so overwhelmed with designing the place, designing my condo that I forgot to also set a budget for my growth fund or my emergency fund, no. So I didn't really have a separate budget that's intended for that, which is something that I should be saving up for so that when opportunities to grow, to learn, to enroll on a new program, I have budget. Pero parang for me, it was an expense. I considered it mostly an expense. So, yeah, parang dapat talaga this year, meron na. My growth fund slash emergency fund. Kasi for me, emergency slash growth is something that I mean, opportunity is an emergency for me. Parang pag may opportunity, tas wala akong money for that, where would I get it? Diba? Di sa emergency fund ko. And emergency fund, okay, I advocate emergency fund a lot, but so far in my 3 years of working, wag naman sana, but 3 years of doing emergency fund, I haven't touched my emergency fund yet. Because if I am going to the hospital, meron naman ako HMO. other emergencies, I have cash for it, so I don't use it. But for growth fund, if I set aside for that, that's easier. That's happier. I feel happier saving up for it. So I now call it my growth fund, and hopefully maturo ko din sa inyo yung bago kong technique on how I budget my money. Number 4 is I'm so guilty for this. Is to live beyond my means. Like I said, last year was really the year that I really enjoyed my money. Yan. So, I traveled all around the world. Literally, I stayed in LA for 2.5 months. I bought a condo. I bought a car. I traveled to countries I haven't been to. I bought my first luxury item that my mom didn't give me, but I actually bought, which is an Hermes. I was splurging and investing a lot on material things, such as appliances in my house, and living my life to the fullest, I would say. But that also meant that I was living beyond my means. Like, if I were to compare my income, sagad-sagad talaga, no? Um, because I was living a lifestyle that's so much higher than I should be, so that I could still save up and have certain space for saving. So basically, imbis na nagsisave ako, ginagastos ko lang yung money ko. Ganun yung nangyari last year. And I think this year I am really mindful of my spending habits. Like, I would ask Alec to catch me, and I would also catch Alec in terms of his spending habits. So, yun. To live just enough with our income, at the same time being able to and uh, save up and set aside for savings and the rainy days, or my growth fund. And number 5 is, actually ito hindi rin naman masyado, but to number 5, to invest in building my generational wealth. So I wouldn't lie if I said I was not overwhelmed with the bills I have to pay when I moved in here. So I didn't put investing as a priority yet. And that was a big mistake for me, because syempre you're living at the moment. Syempre you want to fill up your house with good stuff, with good appliances that you don't wanna tipid, 'di ba? Pero ang nangyari naman, na set aside ko yung mga habits that I know in the long run would support my bigger goals and long-term goals, which includes investing in the future or saving up for the future. So, di ako nakapag, I don't know if I remember correctly, but parang hindi ako nakapag top up with any of my VUL policies. Hindi rin ako nakapag-top up with my hindi ako nakapag-top up with my other investments, with my forex, with my crypto, all of those things, because I was just using my money to live at the moment. So really, the lesson there is to check in with your long-term goals again and again and again, and keep reminding yourself, so that you don't parang you don't go beyond and forget about it. Go beyond your means and forget about your long-term goals. So it's not bad for you to spend on the current, on living your life to the fullest, because we never know, diba, if we leave the earth tomorrow, hindi natin na-experience yung magagandang bagay sa buhay. But it's also responsible that we take time out to or we take money aside, we set aside money to invest in our long term goals. So those are the things that unhealthy financial habits that I will leave in 2022, and I'm fixing and still working on this year. I'm very very cautious and very ano ko, very parang lahat ng gastos ko, even for the condo, I would really think twice before investing and buying it. Right? It's my first time buying an espresso machine for the condo. It took me a year before buying kasi I wanted to be smart around it. So, yun. I hope this episode is an enlightenment for you guys to work on fixing or fix your finances as well. It's so uncomfortable. If you could see my body language is so uncomfy as compared to other episodes because it's just being vulnerable here. In sharing episodes, and yun lang, I'm happy to talk about this because I know that people look up to me and people look up with the way I handle finances, and I don't want is that I'm projecting other things, but in reality I'm still working on a lot of things, especially with my money management. And so I declare that this year it's all about health and wealth. And literally, my financial journey will be so much healthier than it was last year. And so, yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you again for listening. And don't forget to tag me when you post about my episodes at Coach Yani Moya at the School of Bliss underscore. I'm present on Instagram and on TikTok and even Facebook, diba? I love reading your aha moments or what you want, what you like about my episodes. And so, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, which I recorded before this, and nagkamali ako ng number. So, tomorrow na lang yun. Tomorrow ko na lang siya i-release. And, yeah, see you guys until I have a neon light at my back. Bye-bye!